interview is with Chris Burns, a Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Rickson Gracie. In this video, we speak about kids and adults Jiu-Jitsu, a little bit about CLA, anti-bullying, and self-defense. But before we dive in, please like and subscribe to my channel and follow along on the Art of Coaching Instagram. All right, let's dive in. Hello, it's nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. What was your name again?
My name's Ellie.
Hi, Ellie. I'm Chris.
It's lovely to meet you, Chris. I stumbled across you, funnily enough, randomly. One of your videos came up on my Instagram a little while ago, and I was like, I like this dude. Interesting.
The algorithm.
And then I was talking to, James last week, and he mentioned you as well, because he mentioned you were going to see Rickson. And I was like, oh, you might know this guy. And I was like, I've seen one of his videos randomly. And then I had a little look at your page and was like, okay, you seem really cool. I want to talk to you.
I'm tolerable.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where this goes, because it can go absolutely anywhere.
It's 40 minutes of me not knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm always curious.
That's
I'm
okay.
always open to it.
I'm pretty much the same, so don't stress. But I'm really interested because I had a look at, I know you mentioned that you actually live in Sydney. So first of all, when did you even get to Sydney? How did you end up in Sydney?
Oh, I was born in America, and I grew up in Florida and Atlanta. And then I had the option of moving over to Sydney when I was like 11 or 12. So I spent a chunk of my youth growing up in Sydney. Then the life happened, a whole bunch of other shit. And full circle, I got the offer to go back to Sydney about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I did. I love that place. I got to go up to the northern beaches this time instead of closer to the city. And I'm even happier now. So it's my kind of place. I love it.
Yeah, the northern beaches are just beautiful. They're the best. That's the best spot of Sydney.
It's my favorite. I went to one other spot the other day that I fell in love with. I can't even remember what to call it, but it's like the northern beaches, but even less people. So yeah, I know. I got super happy, but it's shit. Sorry, I'm gonna feel really bad. I went and did a podcast, and wherever they live is where I want to live eventually.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
it's over by Umaina, so a little bit past Umaina. It's an hour and a half further from the northern beaches. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, almost getting like Central Coast territory.
I feel like that's probably exactly where I'm talking about.
Probably would. Yeah, probably.
Central Coast sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah, it's a nice spot, nice part of the world.
And where are you? You're in Brisbane?
I'm on the Sunshine Coast, so I live an hour north of Brisbane.
I love the Sunshine Coast. I used to go up there and train up with Jason from Axis in Surfers Paradise.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
love that place.
Yes, absolutely. So we've been here for a while, and it's home. It's quiet, probably a little bit too quiet for me, but it's comfortable. I'll deal with it. And so then, okay, so you came to Sydney. You kind of had like this growing up in Sydney as well at some point of your life. So how did you get into jiu-jitsu, and how did you end up at crossing paths? I know that on your profile it says that you are a black belt under Rickson Gracie, and I'm so sorry, I cannot remember the other professor's name.
Jason Robin.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Jason, I couldn't remember.
He's right there. He's in Brisbane with you.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's in the Gold Coast. So he runs Axis of Excellence out on the Gold Coast under Takamasa Wantabe and Kron.
There you go. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into him as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so then how did this all come about? How did you end up in this world?
In the jiu-jitsu world?
Yeah.
So growing up, I never really got martial artsy. That was not something that I got raised with as a kid. It was something I pursued on my own around my teen years. I made a decision that I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to do that one day. And then eventually my life hit a turning point where if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it, because my body gave out on me. And I swore to myself, like when I get better, I will do this. And the second I got better, I did it. Like the next day, I was like, I'm not gonna not do it. So I started up when I was living in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
So around 20-ish is when I started, and now I'm in my 40-ishes. So I've been doing it for a while. But
Yeah.
it was kind of just feeling it out from the start because I didn't know what I didn't know and I didn't have anyone to guide me. I just knew what I was looking for. And what I was looking for wasn't what I was getting. So that first 10 years was just kind of suffering and banging my head on the wall physically and mentally and emotionally until I found what I was looking for through Jason. And through Jason, I got in contact with Rickson. And
Yeah.
through Rickson, that's exactly what I was looking for from day one. So I'm very adamant and vocal about the differences in what I'm trying to do and what I used to do and what's being done. So yeah, I don't know how much you know about me, but I'm the guy who yells and swears a lot on the internet. I don't know what shit I should be doing anything with children at all ever. But this is the jujitsu that I wish I was raised with, and this isn't culty. This is just what I wish that I had had. It's what I wanted, and it's what's available. So I try and pursue it as much as possible and share it as much as possible.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Sorry, there's like a huge air condition. I'm out in Florida visiting family, and I thought
Oh,
I'll come outside because it'll be quieter. I won't wake anybody up. But there's like just
if it helps, I
lift
can't.
off over there.
Don't stress. It's okay. So
Now your
then,
listeners,
pardon?
now your listeners know all about the air condition. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
exactly. Now they know
it.
everything. That's fine. Nothing a bit of editing can't do. So it's fine. Um, okay, so then obviously I run like a kids jiu-jitsu platform. And
That's
so
cool.
I'm really interested to know. I noticed that you opened is 0 Point Sydney, correct?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
You opened 0 Point in the end of 2024?
I think so. I'm not very good with time and space.
Yeah. And so then do you have a kids program?
We do. We run the JAB program, Jiu Jitsu
Yeah.
Against Bullying, as Team Rickson Gracie, and it's kind of still being built. It's
Yeah.
built, but it's not finished. So, I can't remember, is that Rick Rubin thing? Like, just do it and put it out there, and then you can fix it. Maybe that's what he said.
Yeah,
Terrible
sounds good.
quoting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't just wait forever. You just got to put it out there. So we're in the midst of finishing it. So it's available. It's age level appropriate games, and then class structure for older games, older kids. And what we've been working on adding to it is the stuff that I'm super passionate about. Vinny, oh God, I don't know how to say his name because it's in Portuguese, and I'm a terrible friend. Like I have friends that like I don't know what they do with their life. Like somebody asking, "Oh, who's that guy?" I don't know. He works with rocks. Like I don't know what Vinny's last name is, and I'm a terrible friend. Just a heads up. Fonseca. I've never had to say it in legal purposes, and now this is on camera for life. I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll ask him
He'll tell
tomorrow.
you and then you'll mispronounce it anyway, so it doesn't matter too much.
Just like James Durkle.
Yeah.
What's I gonna say? So there's this way of raising the children and teaching them confidence through speech and eye contact and verbal de-escalation tactics or escalation tactics that I'm insanely in love with. And he's filming all of that stuff to add into the program. Like, how do you teach the class with kind of like acting? You would have a good bad guy, and they would be the bully, and you'd have to learn how to speak to the bully and how to help your friends. Like so, again, I am a piece of this puzzle. I'm not the guy that's building all of it. So we're all kind of Lego pieces building a castle of Rickson and the Gracie Jiu Jitsu. But the jab program is 90% finished. But that's what we run at my academy for the kids. So little games that they play, and then the older kids are basically doing the adults program without the swearing and violence. Ish, sometimes. I don't know.
Ish.
Raising,
Not yet.
start them young. Riding horses and swearing. The
I mean,
worst
you got
person
to
to
ready
ask
for
any of those
adulthood, the
kids.
real world, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now you're 14. Come on. Just kick him in the dick. Yeah. Worst representative.
No, to be honest, this sounds amazing, and that's part of the reason that I did want to talk to you about kids Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is because I know that you are such a Gracie advocate for the actual self-defense aspect of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I was really interested to know how that looked at your academy in terms of your kids program and how you incorporated self-defense aspects, because I feel like that is something that gets lost in our modern Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world and has been for quite a while. And I don't know how to implement it myself. I don't have that background. And so being able to talk to someone who has that experience and that understanding of what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was at a different level and a different essence of what it meant when it was founded, I suppose.
Okay, so again, I'm the worst person to ask as usual, but I would recommend talking to Vinny. I would love to put you in contact with Vinny and see
Yeah.
him talk about this because he was raised in it. And
Yeah.
I'm jealous for the rest of my life because this is the way I want to raise my son.
Yeah.
It's about building confidence from day one. And I'll tell you a great story. We were in the car with Vinny, and there's three of us with him at some point, and he disagreed with something. And when he disagreed with something, the whole car had to stop talking. It was this great awkward moment where he's like, I don't like that. I don't like that we're talking about that person like that. And we all sat like, I don't like it either now. I'm sorry, Vinny. So he has been raised with this sense of confidence that is followed up by being able to stand up for himself verbally and physically and emotionally. And I don't know how to do that because I am a verbal, emotional, physical wreck. So I'm genuinely trying to. This is the part of my life right now that I'm pursuing. So I'm glad you called me. I want to know more about this as I go.
Yeah.
What I've done is I've filmed all of the lessons that I've created from the. All right, so the foundation of this for the kids' classes is the basic classes. The suggestion that I was given by Rickson when my son was born was you don't force him to do jujitsu. You just kind of raise him in it. It's always there in the background because unfortunately it is. It's just
Yeah.
part of my life. It's part of what I do. And what I'm trying to do is help people be more confident in themselves. And jujitsu does that in a way that nothing has ever done that for me before, other than whiskey. Like the confidence that you get from being able to go like, no, I can actually stand up for myself pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I don't agree with you, and if you get mad at me for not agreeing with you, okay. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to go any further than verbal. But I'm telling you right now, if it goes any further, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of confidence I want my son to have, not to be a bully and run around like, I'll tell you how I feel. But like, no, I don't like that. And I don't have to like that. I think that's what annoys me the most about what jiu-jitsu is becoming is that it's mostly this bully culture. It's becoming a bully culture because I don't want my son to be. I'm just throwing him under the bus now. Like I'm living vicariously. I don't want him to be like berated constantly and built up strong through something like that. I want it to be a more positive scenario of here's a problem, here's what you can do to fix it, and have people helping him along the way. I didn't get that. I got like, well, do more push-ups. Oh, you
Yeah.
lost. That's because you're the weakest one. That's why you lost. Like, what? That's not why I'm here, but okay, fuck you. Let's do this. And it made me more bitter. I don't want him to have to grow up like that. So taking the original curriculum and kind of making it into little games for the kids so that they're physically feeling jujitsu through play. I love the idea of playing these games and role playing. Like that girl over there is picking on your friend. How are you going to stand up for her? How can
Mm.
you help your friend? I love watching that. Again, I'm not the kids instructor. So I give them the contents that Vinny says to do, and I just sit back and go, oh, cool, maybe I'll learn that.
Yeah.
So, because me, that's how I teach the adults. Like, hey, there's a guy punching your friend in mount. How do you help him? That's task-based learning, but how about I just show you?
Yeah.
Another thing for me is I want to physically show you how to stay safe and how to properly do a move, and then you can apply it within positional sparring. So I feel
Yeah.
like there's like a middle ground between the two things, and if we could just start to get along a little better, we could start to learn a little easier. But the kids classes are age appropriate 30 minutes because the attention span is not there. And then 45 minutes, and then the 1 hour classes. And the 1 hour classes are mostly 15 minutes of free sparring and playing. So it's still a 45-minute class in disguise. They go in
Yeah.
there and they have a specific set of games and animal movements. But the animal movements on my end are not, like oh, how do I put this? Okay. Those warm-ups like lizard walk, bear crawl, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movements in the sport and the art of jujitsu that can be made into warm-ups that don't have to be animal movements.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily like I don't give them cool names. Dean does. Dean's the kids instructor at my academy. Uh, they give them names. So swiveling the hips and moving can't not good. I know why James put me on here. Swiveling the hips to get to your belly and then get to your butt. That's a whole movement based kind of game that we get
Yeah.
the kids doing, and that moves into physical movements of jujitsu, not just I don't know, walk like a bird. So we make
Mm.
them into games, then we put them into context. And oddly enough, this is what I do with the adults. So if the adults are doing the makikomi as a takedown, I teach the break fall for the makikomi as a game. So it's a
Yeah.
fluid movement back and forth so that the student just gets into the idea of how does my body move to do this? Yeah. So
That's
that's
really
the
interesting.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh, Rickson does that. I don't know. I didn't listen to James's yet. I'm going to. I love
That's
listening to it.
okay.
And I'm like, I said that.
Uh,
I know things.
my fault.
Yeah. Uh, there's every time he runs a class, he would do a physical warm up pertaining to the class. And I love that. So I still do that to this day. There's physical warm ups pertaining to each class. So for the little kids, the physical warm up is pertaining to the class, but the class isn't a structured class. It's um, let's say, what's an easy one? Taking the back. So how do you hug on to somebody? How do you hug onto their back and not fall off? That's just a game. And now we
Yeah.
make it playful, like backpack control. You gotta be a sticky little backpack.
Yes.
So making it fun. Then we move it up a notch and we have to tell them a little bit more. And then we move it up a notch and then we have to tell them a little bit more. And then we move it up a notch and I start swearing a lot. So to keep kids active, Dean he surprises them and he keeps them paying attention all the time.
Yeah.
For me, dick jokes and swearing. I keep
Yeah.
them active, and I just have to Lenny Bruce the students. He just has to make like funny noises and hey, stand up,
Fart
sit
jokes.
down.
Yeah.
I changed my mind. Stand up, sit down. Keep them enamored with the moment. So it's basically teaching the kids is like teaching.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the attention span is still, adults lose. I know I zone out very quickly in an adults class sometimes, and it's like, just need 2 seconds. Just bring me back. Just bring me back. The same way you do in a kids class. Honestly, it's very
I,
simple.
I ask questions. I've seen Dean do that. And what do we do now? And they say, Marcy, like he points at them, and then they have to stop and think, like, shit, what do we do now? I do that with the adults. Like, all right, and
Yeah.
now what's next? Ellie, like, what? Shit.
One that's
You bring
completely,
them
and you go
in.
for the one that's zoned out. You go for the one that you know is looking like straight, not even there. And
That's
yeah,
how I bully. Bully like a teacher.
these are all
No,
gentle
but
bullies at some point.
yeah, have to. I gotta keep you engaged. But I was curious about this podcast specifically because I teach the adults the same way that I teach the kids. I just swear
Mhm.
less.
Yep.
So when I teach adults, I give them context. I never just go, okay, so we're gonna do this move from this position. Go. So I don't like that, and I think that's what ecological people don't like either. It's like I'm trying to get us to get along. I
Yeah,
want to give a specific, sorry, I don't know. I'm sure you know about that thing because you teach, right?
I do. Yes,
Okay. Do you use that thing that I don't
we
understand?
do.
Can
Yes.
you explain it to me in less words, please?
Yes, of course. But look,
Thank you.
to be honest,
Rev. Sorry. No,
I
I did like 6 hours of podcasts with a guy that I really like, and I still don't understand it to save my life.
I
They were like, "Why
know,
don't you read a book?" And I was like, "Because this is not what I want to read a book on."
I know.
Sorry.
And it's one of those things like I actually even recently talked to Greg, and it was a great conversation where there was no crazy words. It was actually just a normal conversation about kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that was very helpful. But I think I'm not the full eco person. My partner is definitely understands CLA and the ecological approach a lot more than I do. Um, and I'm learning to understand it. But essentially, it's being able to create the outcome that you're looking for by, I'm going to try and use as simple language as I can. Creating an outcome by putting up barriers so that that outcome has to be achieved. So if I say
That
something,
was easy. That was perfect. That was perfect. Say that one more time so that no one ever forgets this.
it's finding an outcome. So you know as the coach what you want the outcome to be. And so you set barriers or like little things along the way so that you know that the outcome's going to be met. But the only difference is that the person explores how to get to the outcome in their own way. So it's like an obstacle course. You set up the obstacle course,
I
but
love
you don't
it.
tell them how to get through the obstacle course. They kind of have to, you've set the obstacle course, they have to figure out how to get through it, and everyone will get through it a different way. But the outcome's
Yeah.
still the same, and it's still within the same constraints. And that's where you get all of this start of get this language of like constraints. And there are going to be things that never change. So when things never change, it's like, for an armbar, you're always going to have connection to the hips. Like your hips are always going to be connected to the shoulder. You're always going to have something behind the elbow. You're always, those things never change in any
I just want to
position.
throw this out there that every time I've ever wanted to understand something, I've had to ask a woman. You never ask a man
Yeah,
to
no,
explain
don't.
anything to you. I have learned so much in this 1 minute of talking that, mm, okay,
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
this is, God damn it, I'm so happy about this. I'm gonna clip this and put this on my thing so that everybody can see. I wholeheartedly love and agree with this.
Yeah.
The conversation that I had was pertaining to safety
Yeah.
and parameters. So
Yeah.
positional sparring is this. This is important that I put this out there. When I tell my students, okay, you're gonna pass half guard. Okay,
Hmm.
so what is half guard? I have to show you what half guard is. I
Yes.
have to show you the idea of passing a half guard. What is the idea of pass? What is
Mhm.
your idea of pass? So when you have some schools that go, okay, we're doing positional sparring, get out of half guard, bottom, sweep, submit, full guard, top, pass, submit. You didn't really give me any parameters. You kind of gave me suggestions on, yeah. So there needs to be way more context when it comes to adults. When I say pass, you need to be past the hip line. You need to have your chest on the chest.
Correct.
That other person can't be up on their knees. So when I say I don't like the idea of, I don't even want to say the words because I'll get shot. Like Brev was saying, I'm throwing Brev under the bus. I actually really like Brev. He was suggesting the idea of you start two people and one has to do the single leg and the other one has to defend. I was like, has anyone been taught how to break fall? No. Okay, so there's a class before this to go to this class. He's like, oh yeah, we'll show them how to break fall in another class. Like, why can't that just be a class? And everybody stop arguing about this. You have to learn certain things before you're given parameters, then you can fuck around and find out.
Hmm.
So the idea of like if I hand my son a crayon and a piece of paper and he puts the crayon in his nose, whose fault was that? It's the person handing the crayon and the paper. So when I have a student that comes in and they walk out with a bag of peas on their knees, whose fault was that? It wasn't their fault. They task-based fucked themselves. Sorry, is this like kids listen to this? Because I'm swearing.
No, but no kids listening to this.
Cool, awesome. Um, I love giving the parameters and the tools within those parameters. So
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with this idea of teaching. That on the record. This is how I teach. This is how I've always been taught to teach. But if you
Mm.
don't give enough information about something, it does get lost and it's a longer road. I
Mm.
know that there's this argument that this is a quicker way of learning things.
Mm.
I haven't seen anything in writing about that for jujitsu. I've seen that like people have said that there's studies on all these other sport activities, all these other sport activities where their learning curve is huge. Like they're way better at it way faster. I feel honestly that when this happens, I see a lot more people get injured if they're not given the correct parameters or information before.
Mhm.
So this is where I yell into the void a lot about how to teach. You don't teach with resistance to begin with. You add resistance slowly so you understand what you're looking for within those parameters.
Yeah.
This
I think
conversation went off the
no,
lines.
no, no, that's totally fine. I think that's where the confusion comes from, is that it kind of feels like what happens is that you're just like, all right, you're in half guard, get out. And it's not. And again, it's that whole thing around you're not going to give someone half guard and be like, get out, because that you said one, you're setting yourself up for failure. Two, they're not going to probably be able to do anything. And three, they might twist their knee in some crazy way. And yeah, you are 100% correct. They're going to end up with an injury. And so when it's used, obviously this is not in our kids' classes as much, but when it's used in this way, it's always been something more refined. So it's a smaller outcome that you want to achieve. So
Yeah.
say that you are already starting with, say you've already got bottom person's flat with their back on the mat. They've only got the half guard, but no knee shield, and person on top is chest to chest connection. So rather than being here, maybe the outcome is going to be bottom person is just trying to keep that leg for as long as they can, while top person is looking to use their foot. So your free foot to be able to
Mm.
try and free your leg. So you're actually giving them the tool that you want them to use rather than it just being like, you got to get out of here, figure it out. So you're giving them the tool, you're showing them the tool that you want them to use because you're saying, I want you to focus on this specific part to be able to get out. So it's
And this is
not,
what's this part called again? What's the big word? Is this task-based
this is in CLA. This is your constraint-led approach.
constraint-led approach? So you give the constraint and okay, so you got to get out of here. You got to get your leg out. Person
Mhm.
on the bottom, hold the leg. Person on the top, use that foot to get that leg out.
Could be focus on, but you would say, I want you to focus on using your foot to help you, but also remembering that you need to try and keep his like bottom person's back flat on the mats because we know as soon as bottom person gets one shoulder off the mat, they're going to be able to create the space to be able to get that knee back in.
Right.
So that's kind of more how it works. It's
And it's
not
sorry.
part. Go,
Sorry,
go.
I was gonna interrupt. I was gonna ask, and that's how it sinks in better for a student. So there's a faster learning curve if the student figures it out themselves than
I
if an
can't
instructor.
I can't say for sure whether it's faster. I
Yeah,
don't agree with the whole thing of saying one way is more effective than the other. I don't think
mm,
that there is a more effective way because clearly we've learnt jujitsu for however long this way. It's not logical to say that it's not effective because it clearly has worked. It's clearly produced world champions. It's clearly grown Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into what it is. So I don't
yeah,
necessarily think it's a thing that's more or less effective. I think it's just a different way of doing it.
yeah,
And I don't think it's, I don't think one is right or wrong. I think it's just a different way. But I do think that, and I agree with you, that it's become very misunderstood through the use of language that makes it more challenging to understand for someone who hasn't picked up a book to look into it.
yeah. They
100%.
dominated the shit out of it.
Yeah, and it's made it feel like too hard or too elite, I suppose, is a way that, and
Yeah,
it's
so I think that's the problem a lot of guys have with it. So there's two sides to this coin, and I think it's one side is sick of the way things used to be because the way things used to be was not very well organized. You
mm,
know, it's mostly just honestly fuck around and find out, and it's only the tough survive, the 1%, blah 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 blah, and it's become I don't know a division of old school and new school in a way of
mm,
thinking. And I think there needs to be some kind of balance between the two because I honestly feel like this is a good way of learning. I do. And that's one way of, I'm going to just call it positional sparring. But
if that's okay.
it's like I'm doing half and half of it, where
Mm,
personally, when I do a class, I give you some tools.
yeah,
You know, I will literally explain why something works. And I think that's something that gets a lot of shit because they go, well, what makes you think it works? Like everybody has their, well, I use this. But if I can say staple pass, like I remember at one point I had to, I don't even know what that is. Somebody
mm,
kept putting a foot into half guard. And when you put the foot into half guard to pull the other leg out,
mm,
you can put them back in the guard because their foot's almost back to the guard. So you made your own problem. I'm
mm,
trying to literally take away your problems earlier. And it's kind of like there's this distrust of like, that's what dad used to do. I don't put money in my 401k. I'll
mm,
wait. You know, like I can touch that hot pan if I want to. So it's this hubris of like, I know more than you. But a lot of knowledge comes from age and fucking up to begin with. And
mm,
if you can take, like the time to sit down and go, I don't know everything. Maybe that old guy's done this before and I'll listen. I think that gets lost along the way. So what I would like to see is like this balancing out between the two of those things. Like here's a couple of ideas that I highly suggest. Don't get a neck tattoo in your 20s.
mm.
There you go. Try and do
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
And the kid,
Solid.
the new student would be like, yeah, well, you know what? You don't have to get the neck tattoo in your 20s. You don't have to do cocaine in college. You could just be a little bit smarter. Try this, this, and this, and here's your parameters.
Yeah.
Go. And maybe they reinvent the wheel while they're sparring one day, and then you come back to them and go, no, I don't like that because I can do this. I think that's the best part about Hickson. I just drag him into the conversation because I'm sure James did. I love when he's teaching something. He's never closed-minded. If
Yeah.
you show him something that you're doing, like, yeah, but what if I do this? And he goes, do it to me. And then he do it. And he goes, no, because I could do this, this, and this. And he go, fuck, I never thought of that. This guy's been doing this for such a long time that he didn't even think about that piece that you could have done because he did
Yeah.
it 40 years ago. He realized, no, this, and this can happen. So I'm not too big on the idea of reinventing the wheel,
Yeah.
but I am very much in the idea of the evolution of how we share the wheel.
Yeah.
So I feel like these task-based games are genius. And if we could give them, I don't know, less pseudo-academic
Make it a
name.
little bit easier to understand. I think I
Yeah,
completely
dude, I'm
agree
dumb.
on that
Stop
part.
trying. Stop
I
trying
agree
to
with you
pretend
on
you're
that.
smart by using big words. Stop it.
Yeah. I can
We're
agree
all
with you on that part. And I think that that's something that I, I really like in kids Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I really like you've now mentioned it, and James has mentioned it. The whole thing is using games with kids. And have seen it so many times where kids are drilling and it's almost like you're creating more hard work for yourself. It's just hard work. You don't
you
need to
learn
do,
through play.
you
That's
learn
why
through
people love
playing.
sparring.
Yeah.
Everyone loves sparring. The dopamine rush.
I actually read Hickson's book a few years ago and I really enjoyed it. And that was probably my first real understanding of the Gracie family and I suppose a little bit of their history and things like that. And then to be fair, didn't really look that much into it other than that. And then I had a student send me a message a little while ago asking my opinion on something Gracie related. And I was like, I really don't know that much. But I had a little look and was like, oh my God, they're using games. Like that's the whole thing that I'm literally hammering on about 24/7 online is like, guys, you really don't have to show a 10-step knee cut pass to a 7-year-old. Like it really doesn't have to be like that. It can be
I'm gonna
fun.
jump in and say you don't have to show a 10-step knee cut pass to an adult. Good God.
Yes. Please, can we just like normalize not doing that? But again, little kids, I was like, all right. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. How did I not know that they were doing that? And then James was like, yeah, we used games to teach kids. And I was like, what? How did I not know this? So all of a sudden I'm doing this deep dive with like everyone that I can find that I'm
Oh, I'm
like,
throwing Vinny at
oh
you.
my
You're gonna love
God.
this. Vinny, I think I'll go right back to that previously on podcast. Vinny literally was raised doing this by the Gracies. And
Yeah.
I got to meet him through because the internet's weird. It connects people and it also divides people. And this thing is a nightmare, but it's a part of my life. And I'll get notes and be like, I will kill you, or like, hey, I'd love to meet you. So there's no middle ground for me. I will shoot you or I love you. So I got the offer, like, hey, if you're ever in Portugal, come over and check me out. I'm like, yeah, I'll go to Portugal. So I was just in the area and I decided to go over there. Oh, cool. I can't promise you any work, but it would be a pleasure to meet you. I was like, I don't want work. I'm going to go to Portugal. So I showed up and we hung out and boom, friends. I actually really liked him from day one. And now we've been
Yeah.
friends for years. And I'm going to see him again tomorrow with Rickson. He
Yeah.
had the luckiest. It's what I want for my son. I know I've said it before, but being raised within these games and this culture, there's always downsides, like the machismo kind of stuff. But I like it. I love the idea, like you throw your kid in the air. Do you know that story yet? You dump
No.
them under the water. Oh man. So one of the things that I've been suggested was to throw my son really high in the air, and if he gets scared, he's probably not meant to be a fighter. You know, and
Right.
like put him under the water, right out the gates. That all that old school macho stuff. I liked it, and my son liked it, and my son's gonna be a nightmare, or he's gonna be a banker. I don't know, but I like the fact that he got super into it, and every time we go near the academy, he wants to play judo. So
Oh,
it's the best. We have like those kids mats that kids play on. We kept them in
yeah.
the lounge room, and when the Olympic judo was on, he wanted to do judo. And then
Oh,
when he started coming to the academy, I want to go academy. I want to do judo. So we're in there throwing each other around. It's the best raising him in that. But yeah, sorry, I went off topic. I got enamored by my kid. The idea of raising your child to be able to ride a horse, to prep a fire. It's literally what they used to do with kids back in America. Are you Australian?
yeah.
Born in
Yep.
Australia?
Yeah.
They used to have they still have the Boy Scouts, but the Boy Scouts has this terrible stigma. It's like the Catholic Church. You're leaving your kid with a creep. But the idea of your
It does.
child being raised, yeah, your child is being raised with a pocket knife and some ingenuity instead of like they don't know how to fix the car. Like he can't do a push up, he can't do a pull up. It's kind of what the world is becoming. We're
Mm,
like little meat sacks that run the machines. That
mm.
sounded dumb. So I
Wasn't
don't
it?
want, well, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be forced upon my son. I want that to be a choice. Like if
Mm.
he wants to be a chubby meat sack on an iPad and he's happy, I'm happy he's happy, you know? Like my wife's a total dork and she plays video games and she has fun online, but she balances it out because she stands up and does 20 squats.
Yeah.
Like I want him to understand that kind of balance. I want my son to be able to stand up tall and be able to talk to a bully through these games. So
Yeah.
giving them these situational games and giving them answers and giving them confidence, I think that's a very important part of Gracie Jiu Jitsu.
Mm.
And doing this podcast is literally at the time in my life where the past year has been me sitting back going, this is the next step for me. Like, I'm cool. I know what I'm doing with adults because no one else does. I know what I'm doing with adults, and this is how I'm going to teach them. This is how they're progressing. Oh, they're going to be world champions. I don't care. I don't want them to be a world champion. I'm teaching them confidence and I'm teaching them how to defend themselves. And if they want to parlay that into 10-step knee cut passes, that's an adult. If they want to be the meat sack that plays for medals, that's their choice. I want
Yeah.
that foundation of confidence and I want that playful open-mindedness. I think that's the best part about this style of teaching is that you get to be playfully open-minded.
Yeah, right. It's so interesting. So then, okay, so you're developing it's jab. Sorry, jab,
Yeah, yeah,
jab.
yeah. No, it's there. It just needs to be refined, and it's
Yeah,
available on the BJJ project.
yeah,
It's a series of videos showing games, and I explain the games. So that's important to me, just
yeah,
why these games exist. And then what I would like to do one day when I get the time, because I'm trying to film everything before I'm shot. I
yeah.
want everything there on record, not just passed down verbally through generations, because we have the ability to do this now. I
Yes.
want this in stone until the EMP drops. And I want everybody else to be able to see it and then refine and sharpen their knives.
Mm.
The games that I present, like the chest push defense is one of the very first things that Rickson teaches when he does a seminar. First thing he does is talk about breathing because no one ever talks about it. And then
Mm.
once everybody is like, well, what was that? Why didn't he show like a knee cut pass? He shows the chest push defense. The chest push defense is learning how to distribute your weight and control the middle in a confrontation. Now,
Yeah,
that can go a million different directions for every human being because it can be used for the sport of jiu-jitsu just as much as it can be used for vale tudo, just as much as it can be used for MMA. It's like hand trapping. And, well, you never see that at the highest level of competition. You do. You're just dumb and you're not watching.
not
You're not
paying
looking
attention to
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
You're not close. Yeah, it's like when I saw somebody making fun of a sheik for teaching connection through the forearms. He had like the giant turban and the huge beard, and they're like, an MMA fighter would fuck your mother. It was like this whole thing online, and I'm like, he's literally teaching connection.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach what he taught to my class tonight, but I'm going to teach it a little bit more verbally, and it doesn't look cool because I don't have a turban because it looked like
Yeah.
mythic and awesome. All of the things that we do can be boiled down to specific parameters and what we can achieve off of those
Mm.
that's infinite. If you want to
Yeah.
learn how to do something and then spiral fucking out, you have to learn that something before you can be creative with it, right?
Mm.
So the games that I give the kids are the games that Rickson passed to me as an adult. Like the teeter-totter touch drill, the chest push defense, base. So standing like a statue, not being moved. These things can go off in all directions. Like if I'm going to teach firearms, like I don't like the staggered stance. I like the step stance. Like it's the same thing. My
Yeah.
firearms instructor was like, "You're stepping into a draw base." I was like, "I know. I didn't get taught that. I got taught a principle, and that principle has gone in multiple directions. If we can start kids out like that and give them parameters and context, then they
Mm.
can play and find out. And I think it sinks in a little bit easier than like, I'm going to need you to do this, Billy. This. Oh, he wasn't meant to be a champion. He
Yeah.
can't take orders. No child takes orders.
So where then we'll finish up in a minute, but I suppose I'd like to know, where do you see kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu going? Because
Downhill.
yeah, we're in so many different realms of kids, and it's something that I've been talking a lot about lately, is like this idea of early specialization and these athletes. And um,
Hmm.
I actually just had a little boy compete at Jiu-Jitsu Con this weekend, from my gym, which I'm really proud of him for that. And that's something that he really wanted to do and his family wanted to do, and they went together, and I love that. Um, I would never push that, but it's a tricky one because it feels
Eh,
like it's being lost. Jiu-Jitsu is being a bit lost in the next
oh,
generation.
you're talking to the right guy on this one. If anyone's getting
Yeah.
shot about this subject, it's me. I think it is lost because I'm teaching the most basic things that I was never taught, and people are yelling at me about it. Like, how dare you, the hubris, tell us that this is what's correct?
Yeah.
Again, you can touch a hot pan as many times as you want it. Eventually, your arm gets broken. Here's how you don't break your arm. And if you want to be angry about me telling you to put money in your 401k, that's your problem. And when you're an adult, you'll come to terms with it and go, whatever, he was right, but whatever. Just apologize to your parents now.
Yeah.
Go back to home and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I Early specialization is what jujitsu is becoming. The
Yes.
idea of, okay, you're going to have to know these leg locks specifically to be able to compete. Okay. So now I have to be specialized in this one area of competition to compete within this competition that has these parameters only. Because whether you like it or not, and you're talking to a guy who genuinely enjoys leg locks, I'm going to say it even slower. I love doing leg locks. You can be kicked in the face from a lot of the positions that you set them up from. I didn't say all of the positions. I said a lot of the position. I feel like I got to go even slower because someone
Yeah.
out there is going to get upset.
Someone's going to
They're
get
gonna
it, but someone's going to be offended
be
anyway.
like,
Yeah.
so that's why I exist because I don't care. The only
Yeah.
reason that I'm anything on the internet is because I don't care what the internet thinks. Because one, it's the internet. I wouldn't care if you were sitting here. I'm an adult. I'm going to have my opinion. And if you don't have the same opinion, that's what adults do. They have
Mm.
different opinions and they discuss things. But apparently, that's not a thing anymore. You're not supposed to have an opinion. You're supposed to be the exact carbon copy of the person sitting next to you. Otherwise, you're a traitor. So
Mm.
there's too much going on. There's too much divisiveness. And we've managed to bring it over to jujitsu, which is a very small fishbowl of idiots. This is not the smartest of things. It doesn't have to be pseudo academic all the time. When we do specialization, we're putting parameters on parameters within parameters. If we take away striking in general, we've put in parameters to go fuck around and find out. Because
Mm.
I saw a child, literally, I saw this yesterday on my doom scroll, a kid in a reverse triangle being lifted up. And when the other kid started to sit up, he kneed him in the face by accident. By
Mm.
accident, he was kneed in the face, and the kid got disqualified. And the other kid's laying there crying. That move only exists because we don't talk about it, because we want our kid to walk away with a medal. We
Yeah.
didn't tell our kid about getting kneed in the face from that position because it's illegal. Why would you care? It's illegal. He can still
Yeah.
win from that reverse triangle position. So the effectiveness and the usefulness in whole, as a whole, is being lost. The
Mm.
effectiveness and usefulness within parameters is getting bigger. That's the death of this martial art. And that's
Mm.
why I am mouthy. That's why I am yelling. I don't want to see it die because it's what I wanted to begin with. And it's what I never got. And it took me 10 years to get to. And now I'm being yelled at about wanting to preserve it.
Mm.
And I'm definitely the right guy for the job because I've been yelled at for 43 years and it's hasn't stopped me yet. So I love the idea of putting these games for kids within the idea of self-defense to begin with, the same as I love doing it with adults. If I
Yeah.
can show you how to control the middle through weight distribution and connection, you can take that and play the game of jiu-jitsu with it. Why don't we ever see that winning at the highest level of competition? Because it's not made for the highest level of what
Yeah.
you call jiu-jitsu now. Because what you call jiu-jitsu now is not what I call jiu-jitsu. And I think that's what needs to be spoken about at length. Because when you put this weird parameter on it, well, why don't you just do MMA? Okay, so now you've put parameters on MMA as well, where you can't up kick from the knees. So all of these parameters, you need to just come to terms with you've put a thing in a box and only this works within that box. Outside of the box, here is a much better idea of what can work within the parameters.
Well, we were talking about kids specialization, and then we were talking about the idea that jiu-jitsu's kind of lost the essence of what it is between
Between the sport. So
yeah
when we start to give parameters to a thing, you're going to have to be super duper specialized. Because somebody was asking me about the perch, and the perch is a thing that you need to know if you're going to compete. Someone was asking me about the the headquarters for passing and leg drags. And okay, you can still get slapped really hard in the face. Somebody could grab your ear and pull it really fucking hard. And when you say these things, only macho idiots freeze and go, well, I would kick your ass if you did that. How about you just not let them do that? Because I think that this art and this martial art can be for literally everyone. You can hand this idea of distance management to a 15-year-old girl. And that 15-year-old girl that's what I was talking about. So there's this wonderful woman that teaches self-defense for women. She's using jiu-jitsu. And she's using jiu-jitsu with stripes because that's what we're supposed to do. And there's this video of the guy coming up with the kick shield, and she's kicking him from the ground and getting up and getting away. And someone did a stitch recently, because I follow both of them, and I'm really upset. I'm not name dropping anyone ever, by the way.
Yeah.
They filmed this thing, and then they stitched it with the thing, like some people train and some people really train. So they did the same scenario, but the girl shot him 20 times. Like she's pulling the gun from the same position. Like, that's escalation. Just because someone's on top of you doesn't mean you need to shoot them 20 times. You could evade. And if you couldn't evade, so also, what if you live in Australia and you don't have a gun?
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you. Not everyone lives in your bubble. What if you didn't have a gun to begin with because, I don't know, you're poor? Like some people train, some people really train. That's the death of this art, is this pseudo macho, we own it, we're stronger, we're bigger, we're faster, we're bullies. And that's where I see it going. I see it as a bunch of bullies, like that picture of all the black belts. And it says there's black belts and then there's black belts. Have you ever seen that thing?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's oh, that was an old meme from a while back. It's like the top level competitors at the time that were all lined up in this cool photo with their belts. It's just there's like a picture. Yeah, there's a picture of like a karate black belt, and then there's these guys. It's like there's black belts, and then there's black belts. Yeah, so there's sacks of water, and there are sacks of water. If I stab you in the wrong place, you die in 30 seconds. This idea of pretending that you're tough, that's what's making jiu-jitsu unbalanced. Like these chest slapping competitors, like, I am the champion.
Yeah.
I saw a kid doing that. He won a competition. The other kid is laying on the
saw
ground.
this. I'm sure I did.
I know, and it's heartbreaking because that's not the essence of martial arts to begin with. That's not the essence of what I want to provide to my students or my son or the 15-year-old girl that I'm teaching. That's not what I want you to be. And if that's what you want your students to be because you get more medals and more trophies and you're going to get more students out of that, that's your decision, man. And I don't want any part of it. So speaking about it is the first step. But as Roosevelt said, Complaining about something without proposing an idea, I'm sorry, a solution is just called whining. So the solution, I think, is to teach jujitsu as a form of self-defense and
Mm.
teach it as a way of finding confidence and building self-respect and understanding that you should have confidence enough to respect others. And I feel like that's getting
Mm.
lost.
Yeah.
So if I have to keep running a cult that doesn't really do jujitsu and only teaches McDojo crap, okay. I,
That was
all right.
perfect.
So tough out there.
That
I love
was
that I'm
perfect.
talking about kids jujitsu and stabbing people.
Yeah, I know, right? I love where this has gone today.
You
Yeah.
picked the wrong dude. That's why James pushed you
No,
towards me.
I honestly, I just thought you were so interesting because I really liked your opinions on things. I liked that you didn't care what people thought of you on the internet. I like that you just say things exactly the way they are and the way that, well, exactly the way they are, the way that you see them. I mean, I love
Yeah.
CLA, but, we're not here to argue.
No, we're here to have a discussion. This is why I enjoyed that
Exactly.
talk.
Exactly.
That's how you learn, that's how you
Yeah.
grow, and that's how you change as a person is through
Yeah.
discussion and connection with other people. And
100.
that's another wonderful thing. If you read Hickson's new book, like I heard the illustrator is amazing. The new book he was talking about like this disconnect of people. And
Yeah.
my favorite part about what I do is the connection I have with the people that physically walk on the mats. Because
Mm.
I've had people talk very tough on the internet, but I've never met them. It's
Yes.
this weird, it's a very silly playground where there's no consequences,
Yeah.
where I I see this thing called like a rage baiting and trolling and like the funny haha dopamine dump of that stuff. And I got a friend who does it and loves it. And he's funny
Yeah.
though. That's the thing. Like there's some people that are pretty funny, and then there's some people like, hey, that's a bit as the kids would call it, cringe. And then
Yeah.
there's bots now. Like you don't know if that's a human. They could be
Yeah.
Chat GPT. Like anything that's like that long to read, five
Yeah.
bucks says that was a bot, and I'm not reading that weirdness. That's getting a click and that's getting more things.
Yeah.
This isn't real at all. I am
Yeah.
happy to have a human to human discussion all day, every day. And
Yeah.
that's why I do this kind of stuff as much as possible, because I know well, for now, I know you're not AI. It's not a bot. It's a human I'm getting to talk
Good
to.
person.
And you can
Yeah.
throw back ideas and opinions.
Yeah.
So, and instead of like, oh God, I think my current favorite, the internet's, there's like 5 or 6 people. They go like, wow, we ever see video of you sparring? You don't spar. I'm not sure how anyone else in this world gets good at doing jujitsu, but I'm pretty sure you physically have to do it. So having someone say that, well, since there's no video of you sparring at the highest level, why would I possibly listen to you? You can continue scrolling. So
Mm.
that person is looking for engagement, and like people that do stitches and stuff, they're looking for engagement through enragement, and they get
Yeah.
likes via likes. And this is the bully culture of the internet is another topic that I'm actually going to have a talk with my friend about, because I was asked this the other day, like, how do you teach kids to deal with bullies on the internet, because people
Mm.
bully you on the internet. And I'm old. There's no such thing as a bully when you're old. You're just like, oh, that guy's a weirdo. Like you have
Yeah.
that much spare time. Like
Yeah.
I don't if you interact with that, like the fact that I would even look at that, like, okay, 43. Like I got a lot to do. Like I'm achieving shit. I gotta go to the grocery store. Like I'm not gonna spend that time. But there was a young girl, because the lady who does all the social media nightmare for me wanted to sit me down and talk to me about how this, I think, 9-year-old girl committed suicide the other day in Australia because of cyberbullying.
Hmm.
How do you want to speak to that to the internet? And I was like, first off, I'm not the guy to speak to anything. I'm
Yeah.
not the person that you need to talk to about that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about it, and I want to know more so that I can help in the future. So I'm
Yeah.
going to talk to Vinny about that. because I think that's a direction that needs to be taken because meat stacks on machines is a thing. And if my son comes into my room crying because you called him a fat fag on the internet and he can't punch you in the dick, there's no
Mm.
physical response to your words.
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with that. I don't because I just turned the thing off because I'm an adult and I can. Like I don't look. I don't know how other people deal with it. You
Yeah.
know, it's like that Simpsons thing, just don't look. Just
Yeah.
don't look. There's no attention, it dies. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, just don't look. Like, but for someone who's 9 and I tell them just don't look,
It
how am I
doesn't.
supposed to do that? How do I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really worried about that personally. So another version of me really caring about teaching jujitsu for bullying.
Mm.
I think that's the direction that I definitely want to take in my life before I'm dead.
I really
So,
look
do you know
forward to
anything
seeing
about
that.
that?
I was a teacher for 10 years in primary schools and early childhood, and um, the bullying thing has gotten pretty bad early in the last sort of, I'd say 5 or 6 years. How do I teach it? I don't have the answer because it's just
No.
growing at a rate that I don't, like, I'm 32 and I cannot. Sometimes kids say words like, what the hell is Riz? Like they're
I
using
don't know,
words.
dude.
Oh
I'm
man.
old.
And so, I know, and at that point that I was like, I don't know anything about the internet anymore. And how do I then protect? How do I protect? I don't know. I'd love to learn that
All right.
myself.
When I was a kid, I remember distinctly someone said something rude and I punched them in the nose. They didn't say anything rude again. And that probably wasn't the best course of action, but I definitely learned something from that. If somebody wants to be rude to me, I can be rude right back because I used to talk a lot of shit. Still do. So I'm very opinionated,
Mm.
very opinionated because like what are you gonna do? Kill me? Like,
Yeah,
okay. Or honestly, like a long chunk of life was like, okay, kill me. Now
yeah,
I've got a reason to live now. Got to make sure I don't die. So I got to watch my mouth. But I remember that little pop in the nose was like this stop button. He stopped being a bully.
yeah.
Now, that being said, I got older and I said some stupid stuff one time. And the guy
Mm.
that I said stupid stuff about came up to me in a parking lot and slapped me in the face when I was like 17. Just a big slap. And that was it. That was it. Big slap. And he was like, you gonna keep talking shit? And I was like, no, I don't know what I said. What did I say? And then he told me all the things that he heard me say. And I was like, oh, I did say that. And I had a moment and I was like, oh, I said that time I popped that kid. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. I
Mm.
don't talk shit because I get hit. If I say something, I mean everything that said that every word that comes out of my mouth has a repercussion attached to it. So I don't say anything that I don't mean. And
Yeah,
that's important to me because I learned that lesson twice, you know?
yeah,
And I don't think that that happens anymore. I think, and I'm not going to do that whole woke culture bullshit thing where like, we're teaching our kids to be soft. Like, I don't think we are. I think our
no,
kids are just growing up. It's a different generation, and we're trying to have them be a bit more verbal before, like verbal de
yeah,
escalation is a wonderful thing. You should learn
yeah,
how to deal with things. You should be able to stand up and say, like, I don't like that. I don't want you to talk to me like that. Please stop, or it's going to get worse. That kind of thing. I don't think you can do that with the internet, or at least I'm trying to find a way, but I don't
yeah.
think you can because if you interact with it in any way, you're feeding it.
It gets
I
worse.
think I think if you let the vacuum kind of suck it up, let it disappear, that's the response. But then there's also that like, well, if they're being mean to you, you be nice to them. Like, I'm not that guy. If you're mean to me, I'm probably gonna smack you. I don't know what to do. And this is a
Yeah,
long, drawn out conversation. And I don't know how to approach this with anyone. So I'm gonna approach it with Vinny tomorrow. If anything, we should do another podcast and I get
yeah, with
Vinny to sit
Benny.
with me and we can have a chat with Vinny if you want to.
Yeah, I would love to. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm really, really interested in this idea of Gracie Jiu Jitsu as a self-defense thing. I'm very invested in starting to understand this. And
It's it's real.
yeah,
It's real, but it's if I can go off on one quick tangent.
yeah, my thing's gonna die in like 2 minutes, but oh,
Love
actually,
it.
we may have to call it only because my computer has 1% and I'm gonna hang up on you and it goes off.
Gracie Jiu Jitsu for self-defense is actually a thing and it's real. It's there, it's on the internet forever. And
Yeah,
it's not just a marketing gimmick to try and get people in the door and then get them to stay and make medals. It is
yeah,
basic, efficient self-defense that everyone should know.
yeah.
So it's literally just learning how to stand up for yourself and not have to be bigger, faster, stronger. Done.
You're a legend. That was very well put
Thank you.
together.
I appreciate you putting up with me for two of these things, and I will contact you about me and Vinny in the next few days. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Enjoy your day training. Enjoy everything. Have an awesome time while you're over there.